Hi there, welcome to Land Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Gemini energy. And like usual, we're going to do 2 rows. The top row is going to be what might be going on when people think of aligning with their high vibe Gemini energy. The bottom row could be how you could be tempted to align with your more worldly nature. And some people will align with their more high vibe Gemini energy and are aligned with it. And high vibe Gemini energy is aligning with believing you can manifest your dreams into reality, having hope and faith and belief in love, listening to your intuition to guide you, letting love guide you, disciplining yourself so you don't act out of your shadowy nature. And other people will align with their shadowy nature and think that the way to manifest their dreams into reality is to work with the things of the world, to not listen to their intuition, to maybe not grow and mature themselves, to keep making their life about the world, money, materialism, or indulgence. Isn't that living the dream? So, first let's talk about it as if it's just a battle going on within you. The main card that came out for the clarifier for the top row is that you've either been having a lot of mental conflict, maybe about if your dream's going to come into reality, the way you have been living your life, or with the people you've been working with or in relationship with. But then this other card came out and it kind of was hidden behind it, and it's the 8 of Cups. What do we do when we have mental conflict? We have the free will choice to take action in truth and love, walk away, offer ourselves a cup of love, to walk away from our fears and insecurities and our illusions, and maybe illusions we had about a workplace or a relationship. Maybe we thought something was going to work out and be really successful, have a dream come into reality, but that didn't seem to be the case. Well, are we going to operate out of pride and ego and defensiveness and fear and insecurity in response to that? Or are we going to see the truth? Are we going to get out of the illusion, the emotional confusion, being in fantasy land, and are we going to see the truth? And offer ourselves love to keep believing in our dreams and to keep moving forward in truth and love. The high vibe people want their dream to come into reality. We have the Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, and Libra Taurus energy here. And this is Aquarius and Pisces. You know, we all want our dreams to come into reality. We'd all like to be in long-term, most people I would assume, want to be in long-term emotionally fulfilling relationships. But the thing is, everybody has their idea of what that looks like. Some people think it can be all about themselves. They're the most important person in that workplace or in that family dynamic. It's all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. Or they're selfish or greedy or bossy or controlling, you know. Pisces energy can be about, I have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. I don't want to see the truth. The 7 of Swords can be people who don't want to see the truth. That's what the 2 of Swords is about. I don't want to see the truth, and I might have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship and my ideal happy relationship. And for some people, it's all about themselves. And some of you could have been in a relationship with people like that, and you harnessed high vibe Libra Taurus energy, where, you know, you thought people were going to move forward with you in truth and love, walk away from their options, you know, not be emotionally confused about the truth, that life's about being just and fair. And, you know, Libra energy is represented by the scales of justice. Taurus energy and high vibes about acting with character and integrity, putting in work and effort. You know, Aquarius energy is about wanting to have a dream come into reality, looking at life from a higher perspective, not being self-centered and egotistical and just about yourself. And that also means you have to walk away from your options. If you're choosing love, then that's the foundation that you make decisions on in your life. Some of you could have been in a relationship weren't truthful. Or they maybe didn't even realize it themselves, you know, because the thing is, when we go get in relationships, eventually things can get to a place where we've really got to make some major decisions in life that we maybe never thought we were going to. Part of the thing is you high vibe people want to give birth to something new. You want to move out of your comfort zone. You know, it's just like when you're young and, oh, we're going to move out of home to go get an apartment. And some other people in your friend group are like, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly go live on my own. And then, oh my God, I'm going to go get a job. And some people are like, oh my God, I'm so scared to go get a job. Well, it's just like anything in life. You're willing to keep moving forward, doing things new and facing your fears and insecurities from a place of love, will and balance, and willing to put in work and effort because you have a dream. And that's not to maybe be caught up in the illusion of the world or keep staying in some of your fears or your insecurities, or possibly the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups also walks away from the 7 of Cups, and the 7 of Cups is Scorpio energy. And you could have been in a relationship with someone who harnesses their Scorpio energy differently. And high vibe Scorpios are willing to explore the mysteries of life, the highs and lows. Bring it on, God. I know that there'll be great highs, and I know with great highs can come great lows, but I'm willing, I want to go live life. I want to experience it all. And other people prefer to kind of live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life and don't really like to deal with their feelings that much and like to be in relationships where everything seems dandy and great, but I don't really like to go out of my comfort zone. And being in a more emotionally deep, vulnerable relationship, that takes me out of my comfort zone. I could really get hurt. Kind of reminds me of that song, The Shallows, where this is not being in the shallows anymore, going into the deep end of the pool. And some people are like, oh shit. And some people never thought the people they got in relationship would want to do that. Again, I think we view other people as viewing life like we do. And some of you got in relationship with people who never thought, they thought you lived life like them. And they could be a high vibe person, they could be a loving person, but they just never, their view of what would be happy was kind of maybe doing things the same and not really giving birth to anything new. Aquarius in high vibe can be willing to step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world. Say if one of you is kind of like an activist, or, you just don't conform as much to the world as someone you could have been in a relationship with conforms to the world. You put yourself out there a little bit more, and that can be uncomfortable to them. Maybe you were in a relationship with someone who's a little bit more caught up in the ego of the world, image and status, and more about money and materialism, and they thought you would be too, and they thought you'd always kind of be more caught up in the illusion of the world too. But some people could have just been in loving relationships with people, and they just have more of an enlightened view of life, and it's not just making your life about living in the world and the picket fence or whatever. There's more to life than that in a way. And also, and for others of you, you could have been in a relationship with people who were being truthful and honest, and you didn't realize till you got further along in the relationship maybe that maybe they kind of liked the relationship being more about them and not maybe being more just and fair in a relationship. They like the scales tipped in their favor. And some of you were in a relationship with some shadowy people. They are prideful. They are egotistical. They are all about themselves. And some of you had people who right now aren't being truthful. Some of you already dealt with people like that who weren't truthful. And they tried to confuse everybody about the truth. And there too, if some of you are in a relationship with a narcissist, they're just up on your row because it was part of your life. Narcissists have this illusion about what it means to be in relationships, and they do think it's all about the image and the status, and that's the most important thing. And when you maybe wanted them to be more just and fair and kind of put the whole family or work group as the center, that everybody puts aside their pride and ego, and they were like, no. It has to be all about me. Everybody else has to put aside their pride and ego, but not me. And that's when you saw through the illusion of who they were. They weren't who they presented themselves as. They probably presented themselves as someone who's not prideful or egotistical or selfish or self-centered or indulgent or materialistic, and they were really all those things. And then of course they didn't want to tell the truth, so they tried to create this illusion about why the relationship didn't work out, so that they maintain their image. They're just not willing to live their truth. So some of you high vibe people are giving birth to something new. You're giving birth to your dreams. You're no longer an illusion. You're no longer emotionally confused about the whole situation. Well, I think we're going to skip about this. If this is a conflict within yourself, as I go through the bottom row, you'll be able to piece it together and put yourself in that spot. But just because we definitely have some shadowy cards here, the people that are in shadowy energy right now, the reason for their reading is the Knight of Pentacles. So people who are much more aligned with their worldly nature. And the Knight of Pentacles in shadow, the long-term goal is to be a King of Pentacles. Not a high vibe King of Pentacles, which is someone who frees themselves from their egoic nature and more worldly nature. This is someone who wants to have all the things of the world or indulge in the things of the world. Very driven and motivated and inspired by the world and not love or looking at life from a bigger perspective. And maybe you could have been in relationships with people who present themselves as being people, maybe even religious, that present themselves as being someone who's not all caught up in the things of the world, but they really are. And they really maybe don't even though they profess to be like a religious person, they don't maybe really believe in anything other than the world. Just going to church and all that stuff is good for their status and their ego and their image. But really, they might not believe there's any other purpose to being on this planet. There is no higher truth or justice to aspire to. There's just the world. And if the world says the game of life is who's got the most money, who's got all these things, who's got the most power and influence, who's going to get a plaque on the wall when they die, who gets the most center of attention, that's what really drives and motivates them. And the only card showing itself is the Eight of Pentacles sideways, which is also Virgo energy. So they're harnessing shadowy Virgo energy. They do not have to be a Virgo, but everybody either harnesses high vibe Virgo energy, which is putting in work and effort to see the truth. And the truth is love, that there is a higher truth and justice to living on this planet than just indulging in the world. It's about helping humanity keep growing to their full potential so humanity can keep growing. Look at all the things that humankind has created into existence over the last 2,000 years. None of those inventions that happened since the Stone Age just miraculously happened one day. People listened to their intuition to guide them, and they gave birth to new things. And they didn't let their fear and their ego and their insecurity stop them. They didn't let failure stop them. They kept trying to create these things that they imagined that they believed was possible. And now we have cell phones and airplanes and heart transplants and brain surgery, and all the other simple pleasures of things that people have invented, like light bulbs and indoor plumbing. But these could be people who don't like to step out of their comfort zone. They don't like to step outside of societal norms. It could be really important to them how people view them. And then some of them are just self-centered, egotistical, and materialistic. What they don't want people to know is that they harness these energies in a shadowy way. Page of Pentacles. Instead of willing to be a student of life and have hope and faith and belief and start fresh and new and add to their foundation, they reject that, and instead, and those kind of people aren't in their life anymore. The high vibe people left. And what they don't want people to know is that they align with their more worldly, immature nature. They could be kind of immature, and they also could be codependent. And then what they also don't want people to know is that the just and fair and balanced people who are bold and brave and confident, who don't operate from their ego, or want to stay in relationships because of money and materialism or status or image or power or how much money someone has, those people have moved on. And those other people were sad when they had to go, but they align with love. And this person doesn't want people to know that that's why people left them. And they also don't want people to know that they think it's just and fair to take action based on their ego or their more emotionally defensive nature. And that when they have regrets, they probably just, instead of working through them in high vibe Virgo energy and trying to figure out why those relationships didn't work out, like how did they contribute to those relationships not working out? How did other people that they wish would have worked together with them in a loving way? Because why are they emotionally defensive to begin with? Why aren't they open to love? Probably because relationships in their life didn't work out. But instead of putting in the work and effort to see the truth about some of the people in their life and some truths about themselves, how they might have to grow up and mature themselves, they just decided in their ego, I don't have to deal with it. I'll just maybe go find someone else. I'll align with my own third party. Instead of aligning with love, I'll align with my ego and my more emotionally defensive nature. And maybe I'll go have a victory with someone else who's sad. And I'll go emotionally manipulate them and indulge in a relationship with them. Maybe I'll offer them my things of the world that I have, because I'm not going to offer them love. But if they want to be in a relationship with me and indulge me in a relationship, either in my ego or my self-centeredness or my immaturity or being deceptive and manipulative or self-centered or just being very driven by the world, well, then I'll work with them. But they don't want people to know. They think it's just and fair to maybe just be more about themselves, because the Six of Wands is Leo energy, and that can be very self-centered and egotistical. And they might not want the world to know that they do think it's just and fair to be more about their wants and needs and lust and greed. They've been hurt before by love, so they don't want to do love. They'd prefer to use their emotions manipulatively to get what they want. And if there's someone that they could make an offer to who looks like they're going to be a King of Pentacles, and then male or female, and then they could be in a relationship with them and have those things of the world, they think those things of the world are going to make them happy. But I don't think it'll work out that way. Let's go see. What do the people who are harnessing some shadowy Gemini energy right now not see coming? The King of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords because of the Four of Pentacles. Well, for one, they might try to make an offer to someone who has money, and that person might see the truth that this person harnesses shadowy Capricorn energy, which is selfish, greedy, unwilling to open up, unwilling to budge, unwilling to move forward in life, that they have this, that they could just be selfish and greedy and not very loving and giving of themselves, or that they're materialistic. And they might try to get in a relationship with someone who sees the truth of them and will hold back from them. Or they could get in a relationship with someone who's just like themselves, who also doesn't like to open up, who also might be selfish and greedy and materialistic. And if that person sees someone else that they can make an offer to that has more money, more status, more image, more power, they might decide to hold back from this person because they're selfish and greedy too. And there's someone else they could go get in a relationship with that has more money and more materialism. So that's why it doesn't work out in shadowy energy, because you're not building a relationship based on love. You're trying to confuse people about the truth. Well, if you get in a relationship with someone who listens to their intuition, those people aren't going to want to move forward with someone who's like this, because eventually their intuition will tell them this person isn't who they say they are. This person isn't being truthful and honest. This person really doesn't put in work and effort. This person seems to be more about themselves. They seem to be more ego-driven, money-driven. And then, if they get in a relationship with someone like themselves, they're not being truthful and honest either. And it's just all about themselves. If something better comes along, I'm going to go take that. See ya. What do the high vibe people not see coming in their life? The Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Emperor. And the reason is because of the shadow side, which is the devil. Well, high vibe energy means willing to face your fears, and that's what the devil talks about. To step outside your comfort zone and not cling to an old way of being means that you have to face your fears. And I think from a place of love in the Queen of Cups, you're going to listen to your intuition to guide you and be bold and brave and confident emotionally, because the Queens in Tarot can talk about our emotional state. To love yourself, believe in yourself, listen to your intuition to guide you, maintain your balance in the Two of Pentacles, Five of Wands. Your foundation has changed. And as time goes by, you yourself will change because you moved away from being deceived and manipulated by the world or your past or other people in your life. And you're going to move forward. And as you do this, the fives talk about change. That you will have changed, and you'll also be at a place of balance, and your foundation will be ready to take that bold, brave, confident action in your life because you faced your fears. And that's what the other people didn't do. They didn't face their fears in order to go to the next level of life. They're like the people who never went out and got a job because they were too afraid to go out and get a job. You know, they were the people who never moved away from home because they were too afraid to move away from home or something, you know? It's kind of like that, you know? And then the masculines in tarot talk about taking action in the world. And then you will be ready to take the action in the world to bring your dreams into reality. Right now, you could be putting in work and effort, just getting balanced within yourself, um, thinking about what you want to manifest while you're moving forward in your life, and maybe just focusing on, you know, your stability and security in your life. And as you're manifesting this, you will manifest a counterpart to yourself. You emotionally, if you're truly going to be an emperor in the world and present yourself as an emperor in the world, someone who's learned lessons in life, internally, you should be an empress. Someone who also has learned all these lessons. I've learned lessons letting my heart run my life in the ditch. I've learned lessons letting my mind run my life off into the ditch. I've learned lessons from my passionate nature. I've learned lessons from my worldly, lustful, greedy, indulgent nature. Because high vibe empress and emperor are people who have learned lessons in life and they don't run their life off into the ditch anymore. They've learned lessons and they know to take into account, I can't just let my heart run my life. I need to make decisions that are best for all aspects of myself, my heart, my mind, my 3D world, my creative, spiritual, intuitive nature. We all have to be on board and we need to make good decisions. And you're going to manifest someone who's a counterpart to you. The other people might manifest a counterpart to them too, and that's just and fair. If they're a more worldly focused person, they should be in a relationship with a more worldly person. If they're more selfish and greedy and ego based, they should be in a relationship with someone who's more selfish, greedy, and ego based. If they're more immature and reckless, you know, they should be in a relationship with people who are more immature and reckless. It's an injustice to be in a relationship presenting yourself as being something you're not, and then being deceptive and manipulative in that relationship, and maybe trying to stop those people from loving and believing in themselves and believing in their dreams and becoming all that they can be when you know you're not willing to do that. So I think people will reap what they have sown, and the devil can talk about, um, you know, meeting people that really challenge you and it makes you become all that you can be because it bubbles up your fears and insecurities, and it could be someone you're really attracted to. These other people are going to keep living their life the way they always have been. And, you know, I don't want to deal with any of my fears and insecurities, and I don't want to get in a relationship with anybody who bubbles up my fears and insecurities. I might want to be in a relationship with someone who has the same fears and insecurities and codependencies and ways of being in the world that I am, that doesn't challenge me to grow and mature. And I'm not going to challenge them to grow mature because I want them to stay in a relationship with me and be codependent on me because it's good for my ego and my image and my status. And they indulge me. So there you go, Gemini energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.